Battlecross's Rise to Power, the name of the album suggests that it probably should be a debut, but it's not. It's album number 3, Rise to Power. Man, that's a killer name for a first disc, but instead we get it as the junior disc from these thrash metal, melodic death metal boys. And we've talked about these guys before. We've talked about 2013's War of Will, which there is a link down below for you guys to check that out. And second of all, I get to reveal the winner of the Disturbed vs. Ghost Views contest from 2 days ago, which Ghost was able to pull off, but as many of you would probably think that'd be obvious, they only won by about 200 views, so it was closer than you think. Both of those reviews are excellent, by the way, because both of the albums are pretty good, so you might want to check those out. I'm going to throw those links down there for you as well. Jason Sukoff on the production bench for this. He was in Crotch Duster. He's done a lot of great production work. And Battlecross is one of the bands that he does that work for, and he is able to work with these guys in order to get the really rugged sound, the really just in-your-face sound that Battlecross really possesses, not only on this record, but on the previous ones as well. But this one definitely seems like the notch has been taken up one step further. A little while ago, we got Not Your Slave, which was the first single off of this disc. We got our first taste of what the new Battlecross is going to sound like, and that aggressiveness, that's thrash to your neck falls off mentality that this band has really been championing ever since they got started back in 2010 is definitely not one that has died. This is certainly one that, within the combination of the melodic death department, which is mainly, you see that a little bit more in the vocalization, considering it has a little bit more of that melodeath edge, or just that melodeath insanity to it. It is really kind of cool. And this song just sort of sets up everything that you're going to hear. This is a quick disc at 35 minutes, but it's also one whose aggression is really, really hard to match. This is a band that has a energy to them, just a savage, just kind of destruction to their sound that makes them extremely difficult to put down, because it's still also done in a way that is not only catchy, but is very musically inclined. There is a lot to really offer whenever it comes to Battlecross, and Rise to Power is certainly it's certainly not a slouch in that department. It's not one that goes against that grain. This is instead an album that continues to prove it. War of Will was a great disc that really showcases this same level of consistency, but I feel that the songwriting on Rise to Power not only was a little bit tighter, but I also feel that they really expanded a little bit further on this disc. In fact, there were some screams on this album that really could give Randy Blythe from Lamb of God a run for his money during his most savage of days, because a couple of these are just absolutely insane. And the music that actually coupled it was very much in the same vein, or in the same style. So this is a band that easily could kind of shift things up just a little bit for perhaps a small melody or so, and really showcase just how diverse they could truly be. Now, one of the highlights on this album, I have to say, is The Path, which is the very last track on this album. And I love final tracks because of the secrets and the surprises that they could potentially hold. And Battlecross actually does that somewhat on this disc. They really surprise you with, after 9 tracks of just absolute thrash metal insanity with a melodic twist, we are treated to something that actually slows the pace down to start things off, and actually offers a very, very nice melodic introduction. And then we get the same insanity that we've been used to. However, because of that introduction, it has a different feel to it. It has a little bit of a different timbre to it. It really has a different overall just atmosphere behind it. It's one that definitely solidifies this album as extremely good, and the boys were willing to take that extra step. I would love to see in the future Battlecross take that even further. Think about bands such as Metallica and the like, which originally in their career were able to maintain a very high rate of speed, and then with albums that followed, tended to explore a little bit more of the other sides of their sound. I would love to see Battlecross dig a little bit more deeply into what they did on this track, and perhaps we could see in the future one of those surprise lengthy 6 to 7 minute long tracks that every so often happens to a band of this distinction. I think of Suicidal Tendencies too. Imagine listening to essentially a speed metal band, or whatever you would like to describe them as, a surf metal band, some people would say, and then you have How Will I Laugh Tomorrow If I Can't Even Smile Today, which clocks in at over 6 minutes in length. It definitely seems out of character, but it's a song that not only fit exceptionally well, but it ends up being probably a hugely memorable track within their discography. So sometimes that difference really works out in showcasing something diverse within your sound. I would give this album an 85 out of 100. Excellent work. Very, very good. It's a blister of an album. It's one that just breezes through its 35-minute playtime and doesn't exactly give you very much in the way of moments to breathe. And to be perfectly honest, that works perfectly fine for this style, considering that's sort of the point. But I want to know what you guys think about Rise to Power by Battlecross. Let me know in the comments below. Do you love this band? Do you hate them? Have you never heard of them? If you've not heard of them, you need to check these guys out. They are very good, especially if you are a fan of thrash metal, melodic death, or really just a fan of heavy metal in general. These guys are a group that are now only 3 albums in, so they are part of the future wave of this genre, and they have the potential to really be one of the forerunners. So you're going to want to get behind this movement. Cover Killer Nation, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.